York.
Oh yeah, New York. That's where my wife's from. Whoops. Sorry, babe. Love you. See that? I tried to set myself up to be smart.
Yeah.
Put me right in my place, Mary. You'll probably get an extra donation from my wife just for doing that. Let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. Folks, that is the motto of Special Olympics. And joining me in the car today is the head, the queen, the chief, the grand marshal of Special Olympics New Hampshire, Mary Conroy. How are you?
Great,
Thank
Ben.
you so much for joining me in the car here, and great to have you here, and beautiful up here in Manchester, New Hampshire. I just stopped by your office to pick you up, and there are boxes and t-shirts and volunteers and staff everywhere. It is crazy. What are you guys getting ready for up there?
So every 4 years, Special Olympics offers a national competition, the USA Games.
Okay.
In July, New Hampshire will send a delegation of 56 people to represent the Granite State at the highest level of competition that many of our athletes will have the opportunity to compete in. So we have 35 athletes who have been selected in several sports to compete in Seattle at those games.
Washington.
Seattle, Washington.
Wow.
Mhm. So Nike has donated the uniforms
Okay.
for Special Olympics to go fitted as an athlete should be.
Wow. I saw all the boxes up there, and they all had names and numbers on them and stuff, which is so awesome.
It was.
So you have, was it 35?
Yeah, we have 35 athletes, a delegation of.
What sports are they participating in?
It's this little stumper. So we have 6 athletes who are competing in athletics, track and field.
Okay.
We have 4 athletes who are competing in bocce, 4 swimmers, a basketball team, 5 power lifters.
That's quite a range.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely
That's quite
is.
a range.
Mhm,
That's awesome. Talk
So-
to me about what it does for these young adults.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to call them kids because some of
Right.
them are kids, but
Right.
a good many of them are young adults.
Right.
What does this do for their confidence and their just their overall their mindset?
So they are of all ages. So a person who's 8 or above can compete in Special Olympics.
Okay.
So to get to the level of competition that we are preparing for, an athlete will have joined a team, and they will have trained, and they will have competed at either the regional level, which is a location within New Hampshire, or at a state games.
Wow.
What Special Olympics does that is unique for sports is we division athletes based on age, ability, and gender.
Okay.
So what we want to have happen is we want to have a heat of athletes who are running a 100-meter dash, all have an opportunity to win.
Okay.
From that heat, there is a gold medal, a silver medal, bronze medal, all the way to 8th place.
Okay.
The way we select our team is a random draw of all gold medal winning athletes. So it isn't the best of the best, it isn't the fastest of an event, but it's the best of the heat.
Okay.
So of those 8 athletes who ran, they could run either a very, very fast race or a slower race, and all of those gold medal winning athletes go in the hat.
That's so great because you're really breaking through the barrier of you're breaking down a lot of the stereotypes. You're breaking down a lot of the restrictions.
Right.
And you're making it a really fair
That's
and fun competition.
Yeah. That's what the goal of Special Olympics competition is, that everybody has a chance to win. And every athlete tries, I believe every athlete tries their hardest. So we throw all those names in a hat and then we select the team, right? So I don't know what, I can't quantify what participating in a national games or world games does for an athlete, but what statistics tell us is that there are a couple of things that participation in Special Olympics does for a person with an intellectual disability. So a person with an intellectual disability who has trained and competed in Special Olympics is twice as likely to be employed. So we're talking about sports being the medium for changing a person's quality of life.
Wow.
Secondly, and I think really importantly, is 65% of parents believe that their child's involvement in Special Olympics has raised their expectations for their children. So these are like it's the best of sport, right?
Sure.
So our guys are learning through sport, you follow the rules.
Yeah.
There's right and wrong. You win and you lose.
Sure.
You play the game between the lines, and then you have a relationship.
That's so great.
So our guys are like the best employees because of the skills they learn through sport.
Sure.
So that I could tell you that through data is proven.
Sure.
So, but then you take a person from northern New Hampshire, an athlete who's never been on a plane, has never probably owned the uniforming that we are going to be able to provide them.
Sure.
They are going to be followed by WMUR, our state TV station.
Sure, yeah.
What can it do, right?
Right. Wow.
Now we're talking about the athlete. Then you talk about mom and dad.
Oh, geez.
So what about mom and dad if mom and dad have never been on a plane? And they're going to have this opportunity to go share in a positive that maybe their son or daughter hasn't had a boatload of positives, right? Because a person with a disability, sometimes there are a lot more challenges that their family faces than celebrations to be had.
Right.
So this is one huge celebration. So I can't quantify it other than I could tell you that I see our athletes standing more tall, looking at you and speaking more clearly through the experience. And many do their best competitive experiences at this higher level competition because they've trained.
Sure. Well, absolutely, and it's great that you have the support of obviously WMUR. You get the support from Nike. You get support from all the families, the friends, the sponsors there to help bring this all together. And I love the element that you even though it's it's data.
Yeah.
It means so much.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Which is huge, and that's truly, that's a testament to everything that you guys do. So in order to make your organization function as smoothly as it does, you rely a lot on obviously donations, and people can go online to make a donation, but you also you depend on volunteers.
Yeah.
And what are the opportunities out there for volunteers to get involved, and not just with this? I mean, you had obviously it's everybody's familiar with the various torch run plunges or the plunge for Special Olympics in the wintertime. What are some of the opportunities out there specifically with New Hampshire that people can get involved?
So if we look at the opportunities to volunteer, so on average annually we have 6,000 people who say I'll help out in some manner or form. That volunteer opportunity can be a couple hours at one of our events, and we offer about 35 events annually all over the state. Another area to help out around our competitions are to become an organizer. So the expectation is a little bit higher. You'll have the opportunity to lead the organization's event in a certain area. So we have those leadership positions. Our local programs are made up of volunteers. So we have volunteer coaches, we have volunteer chaperones, we have volunteers who offer to support the athletes through transportation, or every athlete needs to be compliant. They need to have been visited, they need to have been seen by a doctor in the last 3 years. All of our volunteers who come in close personal contact with our athletes need to have a background check and fill out an application. So we call that our compliance. So there are volunteers who say, hey, I'll handle the compliance portion.
Sure.
I'll make sure everybody that is here should be here and is healthy to be here. So those are areas around our competition and around our programs. And then it's all those other things. So you talk about, we have 700 folks who run into the Atlantic on Super Bowl Sunday in February.
Sure.
And raise
a lovely day to take
absolutely
a swim.
Right. And raise over $500,000. Wow. So the average person who's going into the Atlantic on Super Bowl Sunday is raising over $900.
Wow.
So those 700 volunteers are so committed to our athletes and to the success that our athletes can have. So that's another group of volunteers. And then we have the folks who organize that penguin plunge. So it's probably 150 or 200 more volunteers that help us do that. Law enforcement, you know, what I'll tell you is law enforcement is the first organization that said, we believe in the potential of people with intellectual disabilities. We believe in the role that law enforcement needs to play in the lives, and we are committed to Special Olympics. And that's across the world. But in New Hampshire, you know, we will have 600 law enforcement professionals touch the flame of hope and bring it from the Canadian border, from the Mass border, from the Vermont border to our summer games in Durham. Those 600 folks will travel over 700 miles through the roads of New Hampshire.
Sure.
So those guys are volunteers. Their families come out. So it's, I think what's really fun about Special Olympics is you can help wherever your comfort is, or where you'd like to stretch yourself to.
Wow, that's so great. You know, viewers of this series here have met now retired Chief Zeal down in Rhode Island. As part of the Super Plungers, they do that 24-hour plunge thing. And even though that's Rhode Island, and even though there are 50 different states, and I'm sure there's various districts and groups, you know, you guys are all of New Hampshire and whatnot, the mission is the same.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter if the young adult, the participant, the athlete is from New Hampshire, New Mexico, or New Jersey. You like how I did that?
Yeah.
All three news.
There's four.
Off New Brunswick?
No.
Yeah.
York.
Oh yeah, New York. That's where my wife's from. Whoops. Sorry, babe. Love you. Well, I mean, I was a Yankee, so okay. But are you a Yankees fan?
No, I'm not.
Okay, good. You can stay in the car.
Okay, perfect.
But
that was great.
But it was. See that? I tried to set myself up to be smart.
Yeah.
Put me right in my place, Mary. You'll probably get an extra donation from my wife just for doing that. But it doesn't matter where folks are from.
Correct.
The mission is the same. Everybody is here to support these young adults, these athletes. If people want to learn more specifically about Special Olympics New Hampshire, where can they go?
So our website is www.sonh.org.
Okay.
And we hope you can come to one of our events. So I think the greatest opportunity to learn about the value that our athletes provide to our organization as well as to the entire state is through a relationship or a conversation. And so if you go to our website and find out where an event is, hopefully there's an event local to folks and you would take the time to come out and meet our guys.
I love it. Usually people just say, oh, just go to a website or go to Facebook. Mary, you're throwing it out there. You're saying, let's go. Get here. This is where you got to be, the event itself. Mary, thank you so much for taking the time to join me in the car today.
Ben, thank you for offering to take me in the car. I've enjoyed it.